Abusana penso yama wache ama wo akwaba enne October bosome ne da etwa to kra yidi se onin ba yadwen se Nyankopon one yedi ne ye hya afiase emu eden de eso nkakra bosome a etosu edu enne yeja no kwan kra Adom TV so ni na wotwe dwumadi ya no penso so yesim konya ye de bra wote enka asempa 94.7 FM make can say channel sumame ahaya election headquarters Kokromoti Power. From here in our studios, 355 Fanofa Street, Ewo Kokomlimli. Midin, Eddie Chief Jerry Force and Shannon so. Aka and Nano Edriasa and Son 37 days. Na ye kwa kotwaba. Midi say oya humbuane sa. Ana penso so yesim konya na ye babe din komo afa sikasemo kakra. Ukwade ye twa mu ya no man photo samfo ura Kanu Furiata ekwo mrahye bedwafie kogina article 180 Ghana mamra no eso ede oman si kasem ho ntotoye busumi miensa eda yanim afia ba be wremu no ode koto mrahye bedwafo anim ese obehia 27.4 billion na yede aboman no ho ebra na botaye taye kire ene se ye ba beto aba na esan se yennim amanyoku a obedi nkunim nti ehu behia se busumi miensa ewo afefoforo 2021 ni mu no sesika no ena aban foforo se so dada ya no obetena so a wode betwetwa no ho a ansa na march bosome no wode oman sikasem ntutu em che budget ankasa akwa akotudwa anape yesim konya ye ba behwe ye de nkomo no beto fam kura brofo ne de atititi bia bada anape bebo ye homodin se ye de nkomo no ebeto fam na fe yate niema bi ase 27.4 billion sasika no ye de beye den ebe fa sasika no e de efri he nsunsuafo ben na sasika no ebenya wo man sikasem no ho man sikasem no kra se ka sei ejina sen ahoden no etesen anapei ye ba betwetwe nkomo but ansa na no ma yenko na fei yenkonkotie ensama ura Ken Oforiata e de etu dwane bi meba baba beda mabedafo edi.
Mr. Speaker, for the purposes of the 2021 expenditure in advance of appropriation, we projected the 2021 first quarter total revenue and grants of 13.3 billion, while total expenditures, including the clearance of arrears, is projected at 24 billion. The results in the projected fiscal deficit of 10.7 billion for the period. Mr. Speaker, to support the 2021 budget and liability management, we plan to source funding from the international capital markets. This will comprise the issuance of sovereign bonds of US $3 billion, with the option to increase it to $5 billion should market conditions prove favorable. Out of the amount to be raised, 1.5 billion will be used to support the 2021 budget and 3.5 billion for liability management. Mr. Speaker, we will require an amount of 27.4 billion to carry on the services of government until the expiration of 3 months from the beginning of the 2021 financial year. The total amount is to cover government operations such as compensation of employees, ex gratia awards, interest and amortization, transfer to statutory funds, critical programs and goods and services, and capex allocations of MDAs. Mr. Speaker, the robustness of our macroeconomic fundamentals and the efficacy of government's COVID mitigation measures have been borne out by recent indicators. According to the Bank of Ghana's survey in August 2020, consumer confidence is bouncing back strongly and is currently above pre-COVID-19 lockdown levels. Business confidence has also increased, although below pre-lockdown levels. About 95% of businesses surveyed showed strong optimism, reflecting the improving macroeconomic conditions, stability in the exchange rate, lower input prices, moderation in lending rates, and positive industry prospects. Accordingly, the projected GDP growth rate 2020 reported in July has been revised from 0.9% to 1.9% to reflect these dynamics. As the Bank of Ghana stated, the green shoot of rebound in economic activity are clearly with us. We must be thankful to God for these encouraging developments. This and other assessments provoke a degree of optimism and reveals that the swift, bold, and effective measures implemented by government have been key in quickening the pace of economic recovery. This is the competent leadership we promised under President Akufo-Addo. Indeed, the The President's decisive and compassionate leadership in these challenging times have been internationally acknowledged and has added to our reputation as the Black Star of Africa.
We needed to have an appreciation of how has revenue fared with COVID and how will revenue fare tomorrow without COVID or with COVID. How has growth fared with COVID and how will growth fare? You notice that he avoided even sharing with the Ghanaian people what the true state of the economy is. We needed to have an understanding of the state of the economy. Then we know what Excellency John Dramani Mahama will inherit. It will be a fractured, fragile economy dependent on debt and borrowing. He himself hinted that he will be borrowing through a sovereign bond 3 to 5 billion. It is only this Minister of Finance who celebrates borrowing as if that can generate growth and prosperity. You know that the IMF has dedicated Ghana, our debt to GDP by the IMF latest report is 74.6%. 74.6%. And even into 2021, they project that it will only fall to 74%. That means we're a debt risk distressed country. We'll pay more on interest in servicing debt. Borrowing cannot improve quality of life of Ghanaian, and borrowing cannot be the source of prosperity for the Ghanaian. You notice that his own people didn't cheer him. All is not well. All is not well at all. That Agombe said that when you chase a tortoise into a yam mouse and you cannot catch it, that is your shame. There are now a tortoise in a yam mouse. We'll pick them easily, and Excellency John Dramani Mahama will win 2021.
Even though on this occasion, there's a certain sense, at least on my part and on the part of those who worked on this expenditure in advance of appropriation, that we're going to have a new Nnawotwe government taking over from the old Nnawotwe government, it still will be the case that there might be changes in positions. Ministers will have to go for vetting. Within that period, you really do not expect that those who will be in charge will be able to spend. So I don't think it's a risk we need to worry about so much. But I think broadly, what the minister was saying was that when you have gone through COVID and you have a program to recover, as part of the recovery, you want to now make sure that you return to the normal deficits you were registering before the pandemic. MDAs would have to play their role in that. And let's not forget that it is also a jailable offense under the PFMA to overspend your budget. It's a jailable offense, and so I'm confident that MDAs would listen to the minister's admonition, and that by the time we actually issue the actual 2017-2021 budget in March 2021, we would have contained our expenditures within the revenue that we're able to get.
But you look at 13 billion revenue, 27, again, another huge deficit as well. Q1 already, it gives us a sense of what we should expect for the year.
I think you should focus more on the year-end deficit. As you would recall, in the first year, in the first quarter after an election year, there are some extraordinary expenditures you need to incur. And therefore, in order to get a balanced picture of what's likely to happen in 2021, you need to look at the year-end projections. We are committed. I'm confident we'll be in power. We're committed to respecting the fiscal path that we have defined, because without it, the recovery will be difficult and Ghanaians will pay the price subsequently. So we're committed to ensuring that the fiscal path is respected. And once that happens, the recovery would follow, and Ghana can safely put COVID behind us and return to the kind of progress we were making, exiting the IMF, improving the macro fiscals that we saw before COVID. We would return to those periods.
Well, yama kwa babio Adom TV na otwe dwumadie enti nia ekoso na hyebejafie na ye kokohwe na fei mamenda mabejafo edi Dr. Richmond Kwame Frimpong executive director Financial Literacy Africa oyobi a wabin eba ne sikasema, but personally it's a singular honor because medina chiachepa mitie no on other platforms and who say nadwene mu edo Dr. Frimpong and etimensa nimfaso so and Dr. Edu Owusu Sarkodie oye economist obi a Chad University of Ghana Legon. Dr. Sarkodie de onyo ho dwumadi Nnawotwe ye ne no a na ehya enti mamen kan say Dr. Sarkodie de oye accredited Adom TV economist. Very from Wakaba. Yeah. Mama Shase free so ya tebrofo bebre saying we take away from budget no.
Yo ye tie for any ahefo. Brofo ni nyina ni tie wan say ye mra upon constitution no. E act bi a friend of Public Finance Management Act. Na sa act no edwin hu say emre bi a ye ko election no. And I'm saying to me, training pa, and I say, buyer or take you over after election in Tino. You make a space of about 91 days for the ensuing year. Send a bayer a bank crowd over someone provisional or work for space or be put it together in a budget. And halting government machinery from doing the business of government. Into expenditure in advance of operation. Act na my whole say finance minister no. On or before November 19 for the Beko Parliament. Na Parliament ajia tuma bobo hona ya mano sa akwenya no se ne be ya. In the time a aban no se be de oteso dada no anase de oba no. Ye hihye na obe take over no. Ye nyanje the full real budget of the year no ntumumpa. Na ya bosi katon bi ato ho a ehwe aban no nyuma ene nneoma o se aban no edi ho dwuma na otuaka. Eno ntina finance minister honorable Ken Foyata abo briche e kan bom e de akọ parliament no. Na so wohwe de ode abeto dwa no a nintietie mu ane se sika aban ni behia e de adi ne dwuma for saa 3 months and up to March no 2021 no about 27 billion na almost hwe akonya se almost spend this sika na almost be raise a revenue of about 13 billion enti eno ho abobo na am say minority.
Like I said, you spent 27 billion.
Right.
I raise revenue 13 billion.
Right. I know pay revenue and grants. You all can say that's about half of what we are spending. Yes. Well, that has been the economic management history of Ghana and for many countries. A bad day pass over say a budget. Yeah, make provision for deficits. Nan say ampuna maybe a friend of Fiscal Responsibility Act. I no. A DBB say ceiling 2 years so. Say my uncle 5% of GDP. And now Fufian to attack COVID a bit more. Samran or say a man of because then we didn't have any. That's a Samran after the any bit to me because then by no fault of us. Expenses be on critical to be made to save lives and also to even keep the economy running. And untino enyanwa 10 revenue and expenditure pattern no the non-alignment and enyanwa say we so tesa particularly when in that time no the government will not be actively running any machinery ebema revenue ababibre enti enya ni kan bebre di and so enyanwa say your budget system no construct no sana almost every now and then no sana tie na me sure say ye koye nim no ye be the details of the expense and maybe the details of the revenue na say adwen bi ho no ma ye be tudwa ama nyina ye bobo ho a ye betim dia tudwa na aboa ye nyina.
Okay. Well, Dr. Sarkodie, we'll take away briefly nothing. One controversial issue, a car. We'll take out one controversial issue, debt, a car. Or many can say a huge debate between the government and the opposition. But after I'll take away, no. What the infoni no send your mind to say I see kasem di jinambe na kasangasa ete what they no so akayon doc.
Okay. Share Utie Finance Minister Nkasa Yemwa. I think he has been very consistent from the manifesto, 2016 manifesto to 2017 budget, 2018 budget, 2019 budget, 2020 budget. Nkasa Yemu no. Edi kan obe paint picture. Say the na omanati biasity and son of mobedi akonya. Say na enye. Ene enyomo omo ye omo free say aboa oman sikasem. Ana obeka COVID said the COVID abisi abedi enya ana oka nyoma government aban RCC ho say this is no and a post covid or sa kan ho asem ye obatampa yasem na ohwe Ghana ye wa ho hihiem enye Ghana nko a oman bi e wo wiase bia ye nyina enim the coronavirus e dia abedan minim oman bi a wo wiase a obeka se on de ne ho atono e wiase nyina. This is the first time you're experiencing the health crisis and economic crisis. And a economic crisis, so this is the first time you're experiencing demand shock and a supply shock. Ni say they all turn on the home. The okoton so ni ska or the okoton. Enti nye Ghana nyina na ye ho akire ewiase nyina. Enti senka last year and our friend me they say yenka Ghana ka ho asema. Enka memma mani abrepa Canada den say bosia bone yensusu. But emra e wa ho hiehia mu we no economics na so kire yen say wokwa ho hiehia mu a bobosia na fa emma o sika sem no mpagya. Na epagya na so ho towa watima kotua wakal. Enti say o ka se obi yare. Na o ka che ne say kobobosia koto aduro. Na fato aduane di uwie na ahoya odin a koye adwuma fakotua obosia e kana wode no se wonye wabro enti na enioma ekoyie ene sikasem de pija ame GDP growth rate na 3.4%, epija ko average 7%, fiscal deficit aminu abo so na less than 5%, enti na ye can about 10.6 billion, about 11.4 IMF say be 16.4% ya enye ade bia ebi obi ti baabi na o se obedi sika ye nyina yenim de covid de abreye enti bosia bo no senye covid dia nka meka sa etia but because of yare no ne how aba enti no o kan na wa hwe ni ye because economic thought, economic history, economic theory nyina kire se oman bia kwa ahoyehia mu a omo bosia ema ne sika sem ni mpagya ne sika sem ni pagya wi a afi na wakope sika obepe ede atua hoka na IMF na nkasa na nse amafo kotu IMF pa na men kotu IMF enkasa ntia bosiabo ma omo document and that many mama read him out brofo page 12 of their own document about ebibimemu so the mo access ebibimam for sika page 12 was say without additional external financing countries will struggle to strike an appropriate balance between consolidation and growth. Ni nyina ne se wa mpe bosia anso wasene a o man no ebegija o sika se mbegija. Enti IMF na e kan o. Enti ye kan Ghana kan ne bosia bo na ya na ahweye kakra abam afiwe mu. Enti na say doc me to say here the concerns are minority for raising especially on the borrowing ben bisia ben bono. That's the way to go. Especially because of time. Yes, the timing is very important here. And I'm a kasenka a phrase and our friend me. Say that our friend me that maybe dream who said they can see call. And my maker say the number see call no yen to yabo. But when you hear muna yen na Ghana nkwa we are seeing na yakum. Enti minority asem mo kana no crack. Yesika yabosia bo no kwa animu. Nanso so ade na wo so ye wa close to borders hwe ye call March last year ye lock it down aban to Accra Tema Kumasi na Kaswa and these are the cities here generating a GDP more than 70%. And so if you lock down these cities now close to borders now oil sika project here $62 per barrel. Today we are doing $42 per barrel. Opesa abane yede. Opesa CG opesa oyede. One lock up close to borders. One lock it down cities ebema wo sika sem na gina no. One lock it down because of yare no. Opesa abane yede. Enti yes, e ka no kwa animu. Ba ye nyina enim. De enti e ka na kwa animu. Enti me encourage say yenkoso amabosia saa. Budget de ye kan ho asemi 2021 say nyame ya adom na say obatampa this Ghana care obatampa 100 billion cedis ana abane say odi beshem say NPP renia NDC so renia NDC so was what they call the big push and here $10 billion o the bag Ghana scheme a about 60 billion Ghana cedis omeni nyina e can the same thing me you sure say by the end of 2021 na oman no sa be si ne tibia na yewom ansa na covid no ba no efiri ho kɔ no ana yebetimi aka no asipi sɛ aban no nte bosiabɔ no so anase onyai
okay
na yempe sika wɔ man mu nti enkosi saa bre no de bosiabɔ de me nkasa ntiasa na wohwɛ sɛ IMF report na nkasa na wohwɛ mu a ɛno na me ready Ghana cry yetiri ye nyame na ha yadom Ghana ye che aman bebree because ye man no GDP ye growth no rate no projection by the same IMF for this year 0.9%.
Yeah.
Minister so ka say ebetimi aye be 2%. Granted say you take IMF figures
0.9.
0.9. I mean ka hwe Ghana 0.9 ye positive o. Just say isika say me ye car still aye koye nim. South Africa ko machi. Nigeria ko machi. Togo ni Benin ni Burkina Faso nkwa de omo mbem. South Africa oyesi kura omo wo sika chen Ghana no. Omo di Ghana echi 9 percentage points. Nigeria omo di Ghana echi 5 percentage points. By the same IMF na projection. Enti enye se ewomu se atoyida nchama to ewiase nyina ba Ghana kra no ye de ye chen obi de. Enti enye se as if say I not sometimes media for any certain
point and certain Ghana for ye chen obi de. Is this to say ya boy home modern? Yes.
Makers in the P say Ghana ya boy home modern nyame ade ehu afofe.
I see.
Nyame aboye ye mpa ebo nkramofo na Christopher mpa ya na ye boy nyame atie. Hwe virus yi. How many cases now? Active cases 566. Hwe oman bi de hwe nipa ewu ye millions, thousands. Ghana ewomu say ye nka say obi ehwere ne nkwa de ba ye de no 300. Uko South Africa, ko Nigeria, ko Ethiopia, ko Burkina Faso, ko nkronkro aka. Enti nyame ade ehu afofi ana oman no leadership no so omu ya ade. Omu say edume bi na bi mu kasetia no ma bi ana enkoye but overall no I like the way management Ghana Health Service any Ministry of Health any Ministry of Finance omu ya omu kika omu ho e de no magu akwan mu hwemo omu de boa nipa free water free electricity enye se omu ho ate omu ho te omu na omu de no ma eche ade a ehia hwemo omu de boa adwumayefo enti the overall management Ghana ya boy ho modern eche nkro bebre
okay
ana makase wo de ba yesika sem no so a IMF na projection kire say Ghana ye be yadi ye ne Rwanda de bosso. Ghana there is 0.9%. Rwanda there about 1.9%. Say the minister say they be 1.9 say ne Rwanda ye pe.
Yeah.
South Africa the 9 percentage points. Omu grow negative. Nigeria grow negative 4.3%. Omu di Ghana achieve 5 percentage points. Ewiase nyina obi ekonachi. Kroka krebi na eko manim. Na Ghana nso kron kakra na omu ko manim no. Enti media ewomu se ahonyehia na aba. But the real Ghana yes ya boy ho modern any say nose mask ni sanitize Ghana for ya ade pa.
Okay.
But e say no curve no peja enti mebo mesre say yensa nhye nose mask ni enye ayi no na yemwa ye ho se de be yare no nsa emedi yenhwam bio. But ya ade ya boy ho modern nti going forward no NPP na be renew NDC na be renew obia state in the manifesto say obebua ama Ghana sikasem no apeja nti yemfa ntaye mpa ye ntai obia de obawe ni bia no yemwa no Ghana fo nyina nya akoma ba ko ne yemwa no na yempeja oman no na yekoye yema amanyosem atitie mu na yaso obi nan se yema ne ntu we ka asema ne aka achia no nansi ya happy ka me sure so obebusa me ho asem nansi ya wo dey happy no asem bai enti ye me can see so say atoyida nchema betoye Ghana cry ya ade a chemre bi omu say sikasem no ntoto ye de but aban no bo no homodin nyame adoma afeda yetisimu a with the program NPP NDC omu program omu dia go mu manifesto mu kire say enema be pija so enema pija afi bosia bono yenso ano.
Okay, Dr. Frimpong, still on modern na Dr. Sarkodie ka say yabo COVID brain mu. I'm giving say what argument especially from the opposition. Say 2016 world crude oil prices crash here. They compare that period to COVID almost so more than boy. So comparison it me here.
A bad thing. So bad a comparison. The reason is that we're in a global pandemic.
Okay.
And now, economics, we know so who's a demand side and the supply side now I affected that. Not just say your control is very limited. You almost don't have any control. And me customer compared to no.
Okay.
But it was also a certain level of crisis. Then so we're in a little bit different. Me moving away from data. Yes, Ghana are there in handling the COVID and everything. But still, Miss Mijidi say, our budget construct is so significantly becoming the net here than now. Me breaking it down. Say, kind of budget construct, I just say, ya come home a sikanji say no. Emrebiano ye they are buying a raise in terms of revenue. And they are buying a spending in terms of expense. Ya two year home for say. Eni say ye enyoma ebema expense no enko into non-productive sectors bebre. In the time beyond say we put it together an expense. Also obo homo den say ebe you are free the problem of debt mo. Well, that is fine. COVID aba yet COVID ase. But we COVID expense no cry free hono mo. 2021 expenditure in advance of appropriation. Say you code details of the expenditure na. Minhu any portion of the expenditure a year COVID in tier and nunti a mad deficit no a beginning from Q1. Nothing much.
Okay.
Well, we can say be 100 billion, but even a numpono a buy or beef or basono and a constructed his entire budget for the year. So if you pay and you may be or expenditure side now, keep it me and baby. But of course, ABA by 91 days no, a buy no a named Obia named your baby take over. But a new may be a honomoa. Obi a yemfa ne se wontoma ye yemfa ne se 4 years. Oma eye Nnawotwe. 1 year bia ya fa akoda bia ba ko. Enti 4 years no se wo pama man koda Nnawotwe na. De edi kan wan hwe ya wo beyi wo ho afiri. Se na be ya nkoda ne nyina 4 years so 4 years no betimi ya ai ne nkakra. Ana anya sa. Yeah. Enti no you show discipline in your own expense. Te se wo papa na se mame no. Se na be ya nkoda no ebetimi yesu 4 years ne sa na won kobo ka baby because already wo ka me share expenditure details na still me dwen senke ebetimi bibia fa.
Okay, into doc yen call expenditure details name into for instance your compensation of employees 7.7 billion.
Enti mame found com na tie ne say sisi kan na 27.4 yes. Okay, so 7.4 no more compensation of employees aketua. Yeah. Me sure says aketua na aban appointment government machinery kan ho eba ansa na public service for ne ade so come here pa won the public service for nkasa na musika nya he but real detail of sa cost no ube hu say aban no wo kwanya bi anka example uko all the ministries now call all the ministers well in excess of 100 and something. I'm hoping, say, ye be dream bibia fa ho say going forward no say impose or see this ceiling to the number of ministers so because say ministries no any ministers no any on deputies any even state agencies are buying no advancing grants in the budget. So we total now we say be 7.7 movie from a ho never interest payments. Who could interest payment?
7 billion.
It is almost the same. Yeah. Movie ho na amortization. Saying 3.4
billion.
In the amortization is a utia loan na nkasa bi. And interest payment is say
amortization no. You pe say you didn't command to from chirem kakra.
In the advance ma kobo bosia bank. Me de I say my bobo bosia 10 cedis. 10 cedis no me de kota ade. But all my catch me say interest da ho e bia 8 cedis. Me tua no boso me kakra. Enti say ka interest payment a cedis na da so e interest no e na etua. Okay. Amortization is a me tua sa 10 cedis na nkasa me kobo e no. E ho bosia. Okay. Enti say me ka interest payment na amortization bo ma je say me take no so bi na ma te ho interest so ho bi. Enti evan say ni nyina together na e friend debt servicing. Je say wo car wo de no. Enti me bo sa na ma mienu ibo mu a. Ubo say e be say 10.4 billion. Me wa.
Okay. That is a compensation no And
my compensation crash so compensation me dey ato nchen.
Okay.
And I say abine any public service. Interest payments.
Interest payments.
Any amortization nko ampo no. Eye debt servicing. Everyone say e ka eho atua enutua meka ho ase. Eno nko 10.4 billion. And I make us say make us any money me no bom na me de kohwe me de compensation me ka ho dia. Na che say me number 17.7. Remember say revenue projection I am making for sa expense here 27,000 just about 13 billion. Yeah. And this me de 17 billion kwa me de be say 10 billion kwa tuaka. Na me de 7.7 billion tuya compensation. Na is me twam 13 billion hono. Me sika na ebe raise no. Enu nti na make say e wo mu say ye hold the Fiscal Responsibility Act ne kakra. But na me expect say abra ye sa expenditure sa expense in advance of operation we no. Anka ye betimi a ye bibia ebema expenditure patterns na call from kakra. So even if you don't have control over the interest payment, at least the side on goods and services, the side on compensation, the side because our compensation we know may suspect say political appointments also expenses shishim. Enti say ye bibi fast ane man ho anka betimi my expense no so ate kakra say na be by first quarter no deficit projection aye make no enye eni hanhan ya de sha finance. What did they mention as? Enti ya boy ho modern.
Okay.
Perfect.
Doc, we can say interest payment in there you need control. You need control. Also, but use of goods and services, for instance, and can then you beat me.
Use of goods and services, subsidies, grants to other government units. Even other expenditure.
Social benefits.
Social benefits. Social benefits, I had to say social services. Okay. And appendix is why I have to look at the details of that. But maybe the use of goods and services, subsidies, grants to other government agencies, and especially compensation of employees. There should have been something that could have been done. I mean, who said anything has changed?
And no, I'm Professor Domfe or University of Ghana. I'm Kasano Kase. And look at the WFM 7.7 billion or say because not or refer to another son who say on the university lecturer
the OJ
on the OJ and so any cry and the can only pay them into wo kase was sorrow I bet me I be no
Nesra what on say me say the construct so public service ankasa anya he omoje
anya he
enti me sos me gidi say unless it is not the case. But me did say in this expense, the side that is very big power, the political appointees in this size. In Tiahono, not even the public service. Public service, they are here on Omoji. But say, be emphasis say, I'm a co-agency, be advances to agencies, I can't say, you're more grantee. Uber co-agency, no more than almost all the government agencies. One simple agency, no Cornell CEOs, by some years, a CEO and his deputy, maybe your deputies near Benes. Are we saying, say, agency, we can't have one CEO running the organization so that we can save some, and even if it means the difference will go to the public service, it should go to the public service. They said the professor and here increasing, so that the productivity on the public service not to will go up and it will increase the revenue side because the public service Nigerian say 10 bia me misi kesha na de may be an menya sika kesia. It is not an encouragement for productivity. It is also increasing revenue generation. No, why incentivize you almost send a lot of revenue to increase the revenue side on this budget. But if you don't see that, that's almost expense no one side. Then benefited the service sector, the public sector that will increase revenue. Maybe say honona mene edi party kakra mene because maybe say it doesn't show a picture say you depart away from a certain correction for deficit.
Okay. Doc, me that's it. Because I got the want to share expenditure amount no me nim senia no I mean senia
Dr. Report me kind of the same thing. I think his recommendation is a long-term solution. Okay. And Mr. Maka said fine. In fact, NDC manifesto me read idea almost idea NPP come manifesto no the same thing. But idea done so in the NDC manifesto in the efficiency. So mu boho say they will make sure say wastage in the system say be a buy juma for it will say be a sika 100 and number use bo hono mu use be a 180. Efficiency is a major concern for everybody, and we have been talking about it for years. You can't want them, sir. And to me, sure say, yeah, you know, right? The same to the efficiency, dear. You can't. I'll share first quarter figures here. I won't say a first quarter, first 3 months, you know. And the compensation for employees. So say I buy a becase on tia my fork and I'll bet you swear. Maybe it will be economically suicidal and politically suicidal. Yeah, research be.
But remember, I can't say I buy my fork.
No, Dr. Frimpong can.
But efficiency, I mean, his main issue is about efficiency, and I agree with him. Yeah, research be about buying my fork. You will say on the average, public sector premium is higher than the private sector premium. On the average, I buy my for J sika chain, omo ye ankranko juma for. Until when he's talking about downsizing the public wage now, it's all a year research a year and the recommendations a year. It is something that must be implemented. But yes, who say COVID imuno and nyoma are different. Okay, goods and services. Okay, budget now, it was over concentrated on recurrent expenditure. This first quarter budget.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised. Because a transition period as from January to March. A buying cassette, sa brenoa, ye near bre, job renew, NDC never renew. So an NPP crowd renew and obey kakra because on the odika wa bem.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Dr. Frimpong, Obesa, so Omobasa conversion.
Everything will begin.
Yes. Okay,
just that the government will be speedy because on him Crawford
and appointment committee or converting we are on the deputies. And some Ghana so yenim CEOs nyina government appointees. Cocoa board, Kotor, call GMPC, call Energy Commission. Omu nyina. Enti say NDC renew obe change omu nyina. Ye nyina ye ni beti Ghana ye ni. Enti ebedi mre. Enya saa mre bosome miensa we na obi beka say yenkoye kwan ana yenkosi school dan ana yenkosi hospital. Saa agenda 111 no. Menye sure say first 3 months no mbesha so mo we nia nti it's understandable say first 3 months no more of recurrent expenditure expenditure sika ye twetwa ye ho enne ya ne no kine ye etua adwumayefo sika na obi akotua interest and most of them are statutory untimi
statutory ni say
mrashaw say compensation employees crazy statutory dabe na aban betima ka se onhwe adwumayefo ka ontimi nkasa asem no interest wakwaje bosia de ntia ema ye bosia no sometimes ye ka ho asem no se enti se first na ye call hepeki no se no omo ye kobo obosia free omo ho no ankrankrafo omo do mo mfom sika nche ana utua eduru ho na akotua interest na utua ne boom sika no so na akotua na utua ne boom the friend bullet payment enti no so untimi nkoka se untua afa goods and services hold you bit metwitwa so kakra enti minimi nya na ya adwene se goods and services no se nye nyoma bia ehia pa anka yentwitwa so kakra afa no atiasi the transfer to government units.
Yes. Grants to other government units, the 4.3 billion.
Yes. And we are statutory. And also mrashe minister say on fanko. Ontimi nka say onko. Yes, our constitution in bedi. Because enema be na ye can district assembly common fund. Ye can road fund. Ye can get fund. Ye can NHIL.
Yes.
Mrashe no. So on fanko. Ontimi nka say onye. And the idea obetimi aka say
and ontimi so nka say wateso.
Esotie no there. I think yes. There's a certain percentage of revenue.
I didn't know to me.
There's a certain percentage. Say this is assembly common fund. I said 15 or 12 something. A certain percentage. Percentage, you know, untimate so. This is how they are coming. I should be doing. I'm ya adjatum say yente so ntina meka say me nua no recommendation ya asema ye nyina ye de ano atuma ka bi a long term solution say yen change the structure of our economy, the structure of our financial position ade a ha ye nyina enti enye ne how how a da ho before COVID eni esa ne yetina ana enti ye hwe say in the coming years 2021 2022 na say yare kodia we amfiri yeso dia ene ye betina ha kam amade a chekura enya dia bibia besesa because yare dia e de how na aba nti empire na yebo say by maybe June 2021 nanka yare ye free yeso dia nanka wiase nyina atiesi yedadem say ye can be the international trade so wo koko kra na akoton a hwan na ebeto koko hwan o man be na no ho ato na obeto gold akoye komade agu ni kom nti ohun say minister ka say yes export kra akofom ana import so close to border hwan akofa say kra ye bie border no but o man akofa enoma free on close ni dia okofa free hin nti ama bibia aka besi say ye mo ye ho modern as Ghana for ya ye bi but enoma na adwuma no so enoma wo say ye no de bebre nti sikasem no yes me sure say Russian and so on but efficiency na menu an kind there is a major concern. Amount for bebre akase tia even the number of ministerial appointments. Say doors no do one. Motorcade. Yeah, home be convoy. No,
agencies, the government agencies, working appointments, minister, not even deputy ministers, CEOs, executive directors. I mean, we should be able to do something. And me burden me say, me jitum say, minia say a long-term solution, but we must start from somewhere. Say nyanya me and a boy who for fidi and one for COVID time here. Anka enye easy my crowd because lockdown e buy na so him say extended lockdown no pass enka ye no be even 2 months and not 3 months. The whole economy would have shut down. So kind finance minister FT publication. You could see the pain, the fear in the voice and in the minds of his thoughts. Say idea is to us say to me. And it's any opportunity. No, we should start from somewhere. And I thought that the first quarter was going to be a good example for takeoff. Now so it's almost like the same kind of template, you know, any idea to that. And it doesn't amuse me at all. It's a bit idea.
But minister say COVID that's so. Enti ye betimi aye home bibia me madwene mu no ye ma COVID ni ntwam.
Okay, but Dr. Frimpong, me kai say in 2016 Ora Sektepe requested for 10 billion. And then in 4 years down the line, 27 billion. Unusual.
Oh, unusual. I mean, even the needs and the times. Sad time no na any global pandemic issues.
Okay.
And now so no sad time no na even look at the forex changes, any even the inflation levels, any the value of the funds that are inquired. In terms of situation it is different. Even say over 10 billion cry now the total for 4 years. I'm sure it will not be the same 10 billion. Enye so much of a big deal. But it is about the construct. Me. So offer 10 billion no, not revenue expectations you're saying. Not details of expense you're saying. Offer wins so is it the same or it is not the same? And no idea. Maybe say maybe or say ye timi two sana mono. Whether it's a new government or it's an old government. And no me who say yes started. Now the COVID crowd bed any asem I able you BBI say any or COVID. BBI say any or COVID. In the advance here trap will be to photobia to say just as an example. Say NBSSICK. I dey ma enyumaku no ma revitalizing. O question I be sound say remember say to be captured in our expense.
Yes.
But have we tagged a revenue to SICK spending say yeah they share specific productive sectors you expected this kind of revenue triangular feed from SICK edition. Who share that who be asa to the extent in say Matisse President Mahama Mpoka say oba or the SICK
yeah.
Immediately it throws the economic quality of the loans out of nowhere because then there's now pressure.
What the better say?
There's now pressure. There's now pressure on the current government to probably and immediately it burdens our expense ticket now. And one thing I make us say, in the size can the coin have we been able to trace say they share 20% of the economy and I say so and so percent of the economy, and this is what it is bringing and it is showing in our revenue. Maybe I say anyhow. And this it should tell you say our mind is so fixated on the construct say pre deficit, just that better deficit. And I'm saying say maybe we should depart from that. This budget construct expenditure in advance of operation, I don't see it. I don't see that. Your COVID into you best spend way, and we are not aligning or rationalizing our expense. Difficult.
Because I say me fa kakranka me gidi say ye kasa na yetinti because your revenue no sika na yenya no no so. Sanka sika na yenya no do so a.
Any problem.
Enka ye kasa no enya tinti. Enti going forward from 2021-2022 going no. Me stress say sika na yenya no ye man mu say kra de enu ho na yabobosia ma ye ntimi nkobobosia bebre sa bio ana mo anso abrofo no de beboaye no eso ati they say averagely just about 1 billion pe no mo de beboaye enti sika na yempe o mam titru natural resources maka mesa ka bio ye gold ye manganese ye hwan ye agudi anyame de akyeye no oil gas sika ye nya free ho no so kra and no so crack. Companies ni nyina ya abrofo companies. Omoji sika na munya mfaso boom sika na ntina ha na ekọ. Esa na intimi ntina ha enfuel economy no. Nti da bia wonsi ye to go no the man ye hinso se ma sa kotutu ego ekoko. Egu fom. Ma se ya sase ya se ye nsuo. Afa sika nso so omode ma aban e de boa ye ma ye di hwe ye ho so a kakra bi. Averagely 10% of our total revenue. Nigeria, Botswana, Equatorial Guinea-Bissau, omunyina dia 40, 50, 60%. Okobo Ghana dia 10%. Into going forward, no there. I was saying here, NDC manifesto, omaka, NPP manifesto, so omaka. Into a good year, there. The next coming years, a whole year ni behe. Oil, gas, gold, manganese. That one dear two or my munyina. A whole year nature. And ye be support a buy bi oba we ni say ye mmoho ye na ye pesika dodo na free say good ye no.
Dr. Fempon, wo share budget ni mu a car oman ni di nyina no finance minister o capture and I be one ma one capture.
We no there me nya sure so show a car di nyina in this particular one.
Okay.
Me hu ye there. Me hu ye but it is still getting worse.
But our Bank of Ghana report
and there it is still going to get worse. A hona nkofo bi say akọ HIPIC eno ye nkọ HIPIC anyway but HIPIC na a program and a symptom so obeka Dr. Baumia at a point in book I say Ghana is not HIPIC but Ghana is HIMIC. It is not it didn't mean say akọ program but it just meant say our debt to GDP ratio it is getting worse and worse. Now say chere say wo sika 1 cedi obosi an wakobo na e bia e be 70 pesos and a who interest na ade enti busumi bia no usika na yetua wa almost ni nyina na ade tuaka se kobasa ye free bibi fiscal space unya kwanye nya sika wo de be dispose wo de be ye neoma enu nti na dem bia hwe budget mu a wo bo say capital expenditure ti say we mpo ye hwe a capital expenditure is just 1.9 billion capital expenditure ye mpo ntunyuma na ade aye no almost like a percentage enti eno kire say ye debt to GDP na significant enti e ka no e kosoro no na I say you crowd out your ability to spend on expenditure on capital infrastructure and other things that you have to do. Enti enuntina a difficult. Now me say there should be a timer you take a decision bold and even this COVID time a very good opportunity. Say all the effort are binding into digitizing our informal sector. Send a bear impossible raise car locally ni ebetimi raise and sika kese chance e be kwa kobo bosia from and no cry queen because our euro bonds and sika e koji from man no eye foreign exchange denominated no ehun ka too much and minimum I saw many near deje enti say etimi use this COVID time rather to help us reformalize and rationalize our revenue systems obia nkran bia timi tua kakra mfa ho ne ha macha you know say your revenue side is so much and yes I will buck at 27 billion now say the 28 billion but one be kasa and it's a Ghana incorporated your mouse got 27 billion we say 27 billion you can order by 13 billion into all plan is all be buck into project and it's all be reduce car obon company be bit me attenance with that kind of structure. And I'm saying, say, until as a country we depart from that COVID or no COVID, now rather than to say in the future, no, we will not go anywhere.
Okay, but you about expenditure, but budget, the finance minister, the two just say, are making significant macro fiscal gains. So maybe they paid 12 billion in excess energy capacity charges. More inherited in 2017. I think also settled substantial part of the 11 billion outstanding arrears bequeathed to this government. I think abolished 17 unproductive taxes. Abolished 17 unproductive taxes to boost productivity of the private sector. And I think so they've spent 21.6 billion Ghana cedis to clean up a collapsing financial sector and protected 4.6 million depositors and 81,700 investors. Doc, so we share macro fiscal gains here. Now what they compare how the economy is doing now. Who is saying, Doc?
How the economy is doing now?
Now.
No, there's no COVID that may say you be out. Okay. So, mechanic say, a buying ye to abamawa, ube dia dia. Japadia na ube diso no. A council ube diso. A debia ube dibia, say, Busia penny, unia, dear, be see idea. Ejapadia or honor Yaodia, a council or Honso Yaodia. Until NPP aban winning election in 2016, a Canada ho your mudia. A Japadia and the woman or mudia. It is so much ya, ne kwanswana. Okay. So muchia na o mama o mana konanim. Na osha yes na enyoma improve and sana COVID ebe say. Until sa ohia energy sector, for example, there was a contract and a take or pay. Just a generator the amount. Also one so ubetia. Adia ede cabre or may. And people for say, okay, say maybe so negotiate the contract near year. Yes, and I'm a crime to make I say, oh yeah, one day should one factory. Until why do you want to renegotiate? Why don't you maybe hold on? Now when you sue the excess to finance your one day your industrialization policy. Until financial sector cleanup exercise. And also they come for some you can't have political. Now after who to the basic I can see. And no man dear or my idea so much teacher cano. Until yes, I hear no say a binding yes say. And no man see cow boss swinging on. Uncle bought the same a kind ho. Emani nuanso bi ase bi a wo mo antimi awen na NDC weni a wo nso abeka se e ba na kada ho eyade ase eyade Ghana ye wom ye koye ni mu a na ya be yachi ye fura ni asane we ba oso we jaka we ba oso ye jaka nti nkosi da be na ye be hu aban bi we ba se okay dem beto ye no eye nti me to aso obi aba oso we jamika nti watu ye nti yanhwe na ono nso ammo eka no bi ampro can be ho ama aban nti ne canon there na I can't kwesi ho but I don't know sir this is the time you be can hipikini sika e kana ya bono ho asem kakra
ye be twa ye ho aba ye ba na afei ya hwe sa 27.4 billion ya kan wasem sa sika no hefa ene ba wa free and then we also examine some of the economic policies are NDC ni NPP for one more aye any susu aso a ebenya e wo man sika sem so na wo twi dwumadi eso eni ma mentwa me ho sima emra me ba ye beto aso